Hey everybody, I'm Tim Mooney with the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and today I'm diving into the key questions of my book, Acting at the Speed of Life, Conquering Theatrical Style. I started this a few weeks back with video presentations of the introduction and the preface, which you should be able to find for free on this same website you're watching it on now. And today, I'm launching into Chapter 1, which will give you the fundamental building blocks toward what some people very mysteriously call presence, which is that very hard to describe thing that makes some actors really amazing. Some of my chapters are short, some are long. Chapter 1 is slightly longer, so I'm gonna break it into two separate videos. As you may or may not remember, each chapter starts out with a bit of a teaser from later in the chapter. Here's the Chapter 1 teaser. To be an actor is to be conscious of being looked at and seemingly judged. To know that people out there are looking in introduces a strain of self-awareness in which every movement, which once might have danced unconsciously across the body, becomes a conscious choice and a basis for celebration or, more often, self-loathing. Chapter 1, Getting Yourself Seen. Being seen is generally the easier of our two actors' responsibilities, and it is also a shared responsibility in which people such as the director, the lighting designer, the set designer, the costume designer take on a significant part. Yet the actor is responsible for his or her own body in space, and a million notes from the director to turn out, open up, stop upstaging yourself are often lost on an actor who does not recognize the fundamental nature of this responsibility, or, more likely, feels intrinsically uncomfortable in a position of availability to the audience. To be painfully clear, there are actors out there who are intrinsically uncomfortable in a position of availability to the audience. They work at cross purposes with their fundamental responsibility. They would rather hide, because in hiding there is security, or perhaps there is self-righteous artistry. We're not going to pander to the audience, are we? Unfortunately, there are directors who feel this same way. An analogy. Here we are at auditions. You've prepared your monologue in which your character talks to his or her scene partner. You walk into the space, a space where you have never been before. What's the first thing you're gonna do? Introduce myself. Say hello. Introduce the piece. Act. Smile. Shake their hands. I demonstrate. I walk into the theater. I walk along the periphery of the stage, finding the one spot on the stage the lighting designer has not seen fit to light. Footnote, since I'm recording this in daytime, in a room with windows, you're gonna have to use a little bit of imagination here. Audition spaces are notoriously poorly lit. I have performed auditions in circles of light less than 4 feet in diameter. Hi, my name's Tim Mooney, and I'm going to do a monologue from We Can't See You. Find your light. Some actors have this like an instinct. If you don't have it, develop it, practice it. Walk into a room and find out if you can be seen or not. Being under a lighting instrument does not mean you are lit. Lights are focused and have hot spots, and we need to drift into them comfortably and easily without anyone noticing us doing it. And there is a world of difference between having that light directly overhead and having it some 90 degrees or so in front of us where it will illuminate our eyes. Because it is our eyes that everyone wants to see. An aside. This is all that much more crucial in performance. We can rehearse the thing for ages, but once we get into tech rehearsals and we see where those lights have been focused, are we gonna remain locked in our previous positions, or are we going to drift into the spot where the audience can see us better? Or must the director hold our hands, leading us through every step and position we are expected to maintain when maybe they've got other important tech rehearsal issues to be dealing with? Our sixth sense of light should be a natural foundation upon which we overlay our character's purposeful movement and every bit as fundamental as motivating whatever the script or production may place in front of us. Motivating whatever the script or production may place in front of us is a radical notion for actors who see the universe of motivation as limited. Motivations are often guilty until proven innocent, and the contrarian actor responds with, "My character would never do that." Such is an actor I may mistakenly cast once, but never twice. Assuming that by this time we have found our light in our imaginary audition, we then turn to performing the monologue. A chair sits on the stage, and I set it at profile to my workshop audience. Looking at the chair, I note in my most matter-of-fact voice, of course, you all know the practice of placing your imaginary partner on the stage there with you and addressing the monologue directly to that partner. Because one loves the glories of the Lord. If the actors aren't laughing already, then I know we've got problems. No, you want to look out this way. That way, but I've got to connect with my scene partner, place him out this way. But he would never be out there. That's just not very realistic, is it? But for this, that's okay. Why is it okay? Because they want to see your face. Why would they want to see my face? Don't they want to know if I can be believable? No. Yes, they want you to be believable, but they need more information to know if they're going to be able to cast you. So I should pander to them just to give them more information? No. Yes, you need to show them what you can do so they know if they're going to cast you. Well, why would I want to do that? So you can get cast. And why would I want to get cast? So you can make money. If you haven't figured it out by now, I am, of course, pulling your legs. Of course, you want to set your scene partner out in the audience. That's where the money is. That imaginary scene partner doesn't even exist right now. Why would we imagine that an invisible scene partner is any more real when we put them next to us rather than in front of us? More importantly, notice when you have invented a rule for yourself that dictates how you are supposed to behave. This may seem relatively harmless now, but it will sneak back up to bite you later in this workshop. And do not turn the director for whom you are auditioning into that partner. That director probably needs to take some notes right now, and you staring them down will probably be more annoying than anything. But set that imaginary partner just up above the head of the director, so that he or she does not have to play a role along with you, and yet they get the benefit of looking up into your eyes. Because the eyes are everything. Just look at the difference between a monologue performed in profile to one performed looking towards the audience. The monologue is geometrically improved because the inner life of the actor/character is immediately available to the audience. Audition monologues are not about reciting a set of words, even though that is part of the experience. Audition monologues are about exposing yourself at your fullest depth and texture to the auditor. The subtle nuances that play upon your face, assuming that you're even slightly involved with your character's desires, will be evident. A million bits of information are expressed, and the greatest challenge that you can take on as an actor in this moment is stripping away the affectation and allowing complete transparency of your own emotional life. Think of this as available information. When I am turned out like this to you, let's call this 100% of available information. Now, when I turn profile to you like this, what percent of information is now available to you? 50%. 90% of the students sing this out. 40%. 25%. They've started to rethink this position. 20%? Yes, more like 20%, maybe even as little as 10%. We understand faces, not just by the more overt movements of smiling or scowling, but through the subtle interplay of one side of the face against the other. There are muscles of incredible texture, detail, and subtlety surrounding the eyes and the mouth. These are the most complex, delicate, nuanced muscles of the entire body. The slightest flash of emotion will play upon the tiniest of these muscles, all the way down to the widening and contracting iris of the pupil. That level of subtlety and depth is not available in profile. Looking at the surface of the average face, seen from directly in front, you see perhaps 45 square inches, assuming a face that is on average 9 inches tall by 5 inches wide. Of that area, perhaps 10 square inches above the forehead, mostly covered with hair, is not expressive. In profile, the amount of space that remains expressive from the cheeks forward is roughly 10 square inches. The expressive portion of the face is now a slight sliver, a crescent moon, as contrasted with the much larger portion of the head behind it. Consider this. You're taking a picture of a group of friends. What is the one thing that will cause you to delete that photo from the memory of the camera and take another? If their eyes are closed. Exactly. You might have the perfect picture. Everybody's smiling. They've struck the perfect identical pose, the framing, the positions, the lighting, perfect. But someone's eyes are closed. A photograph with closed eyes is worthless to us. We delete it from our camera without even checking to see how anything else in the shot came out. The eyes are the mirrors of the soul is not just a cliche. The eyes are the most vulnerable parts of our body. Revealed, they are not only exposed to wind and light and weather, but they give away to the curious onlooker your naked emotional life and a piece of your soul. And in our audition scenario, it is that pure, unshielded emotional life which will tell the director whether or not he wants to work with you. It forms the clay with which the director will work for the next 6 weeks. Together, you will bring shape to the being. You want that collaborator to know that you will be supple and available clay. In performance, we want to give our audience the same experience. We want to be just as available to the audience's view. They want to see our eyes as badly as the director did, and more often than not, we want to hide them. That's going to be enough for the first half of Chapter 1. I think I may have given you something to think about. I'll be back in just a week with the second half as we go from our audition scenario to explore just how we find ways to hide ourselves in performance situations when we are sharing the stage with an actual acting partner. If you enjoyed this chapter, please hit like or subscribe or tell a friend, maybe somebody who you act with on a regular basis who might benefit from taking this journey with you. Once again, I'm Tim Mooney with the Timothy Mooney Repertory Theater, and I'm almost constantly on the road with my one-man plays, such as Breakneck Hamlet or Breakneck Comedy of Errors, available for booking across the United States. Drop me a note if you'd like an event at your school or organization, or you can find many video versions of my one-man shows available for rental or purchase at breakneckshakespeare.com. Thanks for joining me. See you on the stage.